this weekend, a difficult weekend for the Clinton campaign. What are you explaining here in Israel, first of all, to the media when they're asking you, so the game is changed?
The game has changed because it's unfortunate that a letter was sent out. What's in that letter? Not very clear. How should this impact on the election? It's not very clear. It's obviously it's going to hurt Hillary Clinton because he's bringing up again the email scandal. So that's something that can hurt but not help Hillary Clinton. But in his letter to Congress, he said, "I'm doing a separate investigation of two other people, Anthony Weiner and his former wife, who was a close Clinton aide. There are emails in there. The emails might impact on the Clinton investigation, which is closed." Come on, there's no indication that Hillary Clinton sent an email to is part of those 10,000. He didn't even say that. He just says there might be an email in there that might impact. And on this basis, there's coming out a scandal. I think it's ridiculous.
And are you out clear questioning the motivation of the FBI director?
First of all, his motivation doesn't really interest me. The fact that he's a Republican and might be doing this for political reasons, it's not important. What's really important is, one, he is a gross departure from internal FBI procedures. One, not to comment upon investigations that are current. Number two, not to make any comment that could influence an election. You don't talk about something within 60 days of election. Here, 10 days before the election, he says something so confusing. He doesn't even make a charge. He doesn't even say we're reopening the investigation. He says there might be an email that might impact. So based upon what he said, I have no reason to believe to vote for or against Hillary Clinton. But it just raises a stink. And that, I think, does raise a serious question about his motivations. Why is he doing this? Why is he confusing the American voters?
A few words about your activity in Israel. We saw, of course, that the Trump campaign put lots of effort, is putting lots of effort here in the Israeli vote, of course, the American Israeli vote. We're not seeing big campaigns from the Democratic side. What can you tell us about the reason we're seeing this and how you're working here in Israel?
Well, first of all, there's a difference between the Republicans and the Democrats in just our structure. Two things. Number one, the Republicans apparently got money. Where they've gotten the money from, I don't know. I understand there's some questions about whether or not they might have violated federal election campaign. This is something that I think is being investigated, and I'd be curious to see what the result is. But they have money. They hired public relations people. They hired advisors. They've had public events. They've opened up campaign offices around. Democrats Abroad is a volunteer organization. We work solely as volunteers, and so therefore we don't have the funds to do that sort of large campaign. But I think the results of the Democratic Party here in Israel have always been very good. We've always had a very, very high turnout and a very, very high turnout for the Democratic candidate. And I think that's going to happen again this year. I think most American voters in Israel are Democratic, and they do care about the vote. And we've always found that it's close to 2/3 the Democratic vote.
When we speak to some of the voters, the American voters, we hear statements like, yeah, Trump is more pro-Israel, but Hillary is so-and-so. Do you also say that that is not true, that Hillary Clinton is pro-Israel?
No. First of all, how do you know that Trump is pro-Israel? How do you know? He has no track record. The only thing I do know is what he says yesterday, which is like the first thing he said is, I'm going to be even-handed between Palestinians and Israelis. The next day he said, well, I'm really in favor of the Israelis. Does that mean, is that something to bank on? One day he comes out and he says, Israel should give back $3.5 billion because we're doing such a good job protecting Israel. America's doing such a good job protecting Israel. That is the sort of friendship that you want? I don't know. This is what he said yesterday. I don't know what he's going to say tomorrow. I'm sure that he doesn't know what he's going to say tomorrow. I don't think Trump may have good feelings towards Israel, but he's certainly not reliable.
But when Israelis and maybe American Jews say, but we don't want more of the same, what we had these 8 years with Obama, with the tensions, there was support, of course, but still, it wasn't what we're used to in terms of the relationship, the friendship between Israel and America.
Let's, first of all, two things. Number one, there was recently a CNN poll where they asked Israelis how you feel about Trump and Hillary Clinton, and she was ahead of Trump 2-1, 42% to 21%. to 22%. So I think that the Israelis also understand that Hillary Clinton is a solid supporter of Israel and someone you can rely on. Someone who's always said that Israel's security is not up for negotiation. Someone who's seen the importance of having Israel as a Jewish state defended and to give Israel the thing. Now, the Obama administration has gotten a bad rap. Obama administration has been very, very supportive of Israel and of its needs. Let's not forget that Obama has given Israel advanced weaponry, the F-35, cluster bombs. The Obama administration has helped Israel financially. It's recently given it the largest foreign aid package it's ever given to any other country. Obama has had Israel's back in the UN. During the entire Obama administration, 2 terms, there has not been one single decision in the UN Security Council against Israel. That's the only president you can say so. Yes, there are differences between the left-wing Obama administration and the right-wing Israeli administration on such issues as settlement. And yes, there are disagreements over the Iran policy. But ultimately, America has Israel's back, and Israel and has supported Israel's security, and Hillary Clinton, as the Secretary of State who has carried out these policies, will continue to do so.